So what sort of rock are you using for that?
This is 5/8 gravel from T-Bend Construction right here in Columbia Falls. Any gravel, I've tested a lot of the gravels around the valley. They all seem to be pretty good. Weaver gravel, the more you go that way, it seemed to give a little bit of a pH problem. But Central
When you
Valley.
say pH, are you talking about it being more like limestone?
Correct. Right. It was hard to control it, whereas this was pretty neutral. You know, when I did my test in it, to test a rock is simple. I mean, you can use volcanic rock from Home Depot. Go down there and buy bags of volcanic rock. You can use hydroton clay balls that you can buy at, you know, gosh, I think Lowe's has it, Home Depot, Plantland, Hoopers, any place like that you can get it. You can order it through, and I've got several magazines and catalogs up there that I can show you where you can get some of your parts. And by the way, the books and everything I brought over there, it's a lot of material that I've gone through. I've gone through a whole stacks and videos and everything, and that's kind of some of the stuff that I think is, if you're going to get into this, some of these books over here are what I would recommend definitely. That would help.
What's underneath the rock, if anything?
It's a pond liner. Just a PVC pond liner. I try to stay away from EPDM, like a rubber Firestone pond liner. It's a little bit harder to get the bacteria started in. So this is a PVC liner, or like a tower shub liner. And oh gosh, there's about 5 or 6 types of different fish grade liners. You just want to make sure they say fish grade. And you want to stay away from the rubber EPDM ones if you can. And if you do have to go that route, try to get one that definitely says fish grade, and then you're going to have to take probably about 3 or 4 weeks to let it sit in the water, flush out, and kind of get rid of some of its manufacturing, packing chemicals. I'm not sure what the problem is, but there has been. I've read a lot. I haven't experienced it myself, but I've read a lot that it is a little bit harder to get the bacteria started. Concrete doesn't work very well just because
It's the lime.
it's the lime. So it'll mess with your pH. And so if you do use concrete, you definitely have to seal it with some type of a sealant, you know, like a swimming pool type of a sealant or a gunite type of a thing. So it can be done, but it's not the best. Now, I mean, there's examples of guys taking viscomine plastic and doing it. You know, just trying to show how cheap it can be done. And some guys take real thick, heavy, like 20-ply plastic and experiment with that and be fine. A couple years later, they got holes. You know, so it's kind of, what are you doing? What's your ideas? The thing that I like to show people who are, you know, want to get into it and don't want to spend a lot of money. You've probably seen them at different farm places, Murdoch's. Where's my picture of one? Well, here's the top of a container. Those IBC containers you see, excuse me. They're basically a chemical container. That molasses comes in, food products come in. They got that steel cage. They're about 275 gallons. You can pick them up for about $100, $150 at agriculture stores or online. I've seen them online and shipped for $80 to $100. I'm sorry, I don't think I have a very good picture, but that's the best picture I think I got of it all set up. But that, we chop it about a third, flip it over, use the third of it for a tray, which you see right here. And then the bottom right here is where the fish can survive. That is as simple and as cheap a system as you can come up with, and that's enough for 2 people to have lettuce, you know, pretty much all the time. And I've built one for a friend of mine, and we put it on coasters, and he's been coasting it out of his garage every morning and then pushing it back in today, which I thought was pretty neat, you know. And he's already eating lettuce, and it's been going for about a month, and he just, and I don't advocate this at all. He went and caught some fish and put it in there himself, but I just want you to know that that is highly illegal.
So how much fish would that yield right there, that system right there?
This you could raise about 25 fish, each one being about a pound and a half, depending on the type of fish. It would take you about 8 to 9 months to do that. So you could even raise fish, get starts like in February, and get your lettuce starts, get them all going by March and everything, have your fish in there, and then by March, April, May, June, you're going to start producing vegetables, and then all summer long you put a different vegetable crop in there, And you could run this all the way until about Thanksgiving, and then harvest your fish, and then shut it down for the winter time. That's what I like about this system, versus my system I have right now, that's a little bit bigger. It's kind of hard to do that. I gotta keep it running all the time, 24/7, 365 days a week, if I want it to be successful and keep everything moving. But this small of a system, I really like the fact that, you know, especially up here in Montana, if you can't afford to have a heated greenhouse or heated shed and have a sodium halide light hanging over it, or a T5 light hanging over it to grow your vegetables, because you have to have that in the wintertime around here, then it's kind of a neat deal. You can shut it down and buy your new fish the next year and start over again. So that's why I encourage people, that friends of mine that want to do this, to start with a small system like this, because it's not gonna cost you a lot of money, and if you mess up, it's not that big a deal. If I mess up, it makes me cry because it's a lot of work, you know, that I've put into it.
How big is the dimensions on that?
It's almost a 4x4.
4x4.
Yeah. I apologize, I don't have a better picture of just an IBC container. I didn't think about just taking a picture of the container. The bell valves I was talking about are this basic unit right here, and it's just a cap and a 3-inch pipe. And I could talk about it and show everybody later, or if people want to make an appointment to come up and look, I'm fine with that too, because you can explain it and show people pictures all day long, but to see it in action is one of the better things to do.
That was a no.
The bell siphon. And if you YouTube it, there's a zillion bell siphons out there on YouTube. Different theories. You can make them out of a couple plastic bottles if you want. Pretty simple, easy idea that's been around for hundreds of years.